ask you something. If the financial system is so stable, why does it feel like everything is breaking at once? Think about it and we'll discuss that shortly. Next week, we've got the FOMC meeting. Markets are pricing in no rate cut, a very small chance for it to happen. And yet, behind the scenes, we are starting to see a lot of things. Another potential government shutdown, tariffs on Canada, new Fed chair coming into Powell's position. President Trump is also calling for stimulus checks and low interest rates. This isn't stability. This is the end game behavior of a fiat system under so much pressure. So if you're still holding monthly cash, you're on the wrong side of what's coming, and I'll explain to you why with some charts. So let's start with the obvious, what is coming up, and it's one of the most important high impact events. That's the FOMC meeting next Wednesday. Markets are calm, volatility is very low, and traders are relaxed. There is no much engagement right now, no much volume, no much volatility. Markets are not reacting to any of the news that is happening, and this is kind of the sign where everyone is sort of has given up on crypto. Everyone is thinking also that we won't have any interest rate cut, business as usual. Markets aren't reacting to what's being said, they're ignoring what's being built underneath. So when rate cuts are off the table, as this is the prediction, if we look at the probabilities, the statistics over here, when there is no rate cuts, yet stimulus, tariffs, and liquidity are being discussed at the same time, that tells you something very important. It tells you that the Fed may be paused, but the system is not. And the financial system is under so much pressure, and something needs to be done as soon as possible. So if we look at the political and the macro environment, right now we have talks about government shutdown at the end of January. That means again spending, debt calling drama, and emergency funding measures. We have potential 100% tariffs on Canada. That's not inflation reducing, that's supply chain disruption. And we also have Trump openly discussing Greenland, whether serious or strategic. This is geographical leverage, not diplomacy. And also the US is moving towards Iran, geopolitical risk, energy risk, inflation risks due to this move. And we also have investigations into Powell and new Fed chair, as the BlackRock's CIO is seen as a potential Fed chair. But let's see how that goes. And also Trump is calling for stimulus checks and 1% rates. And that's nothing to do with tightening. That's panic era policy language. And if we put this together, this is not a controlled environment. This is a policy desperation dressed up as confidence. We know what is happening. We see what is happening. And it's very important that you understand. In time like this, income earners lose, savers lose, cash holders lose. Only one group wins, and that's the asset owners. Why? Because when governments can't fix problems politically, they fix them monetarily. And monetary fixes always mean more liquidity, more debt, more dilution. They don't raise productivity, they lower the value of the currency. And that's the quiet tax. If you look even at the dollar itself, it has lost so much of its value, but we're going to talk about it in a minute. Before that, I want to show you the chart of global M2, the global money supply versus Bitcoin. And this matters because it's not headlines, it's not rate cut odds, it's global liquidity, the total money supply, which is hitting record $98 trillion. It isn't coming from one country, it's coming from the US, from the Eurozone, from China, from Japan, and all expanding aggressively. Year to date, money supply growth is now 6.2%, and that's the fastest pace since 2020 pandemic response. And as you can see, Bitcoin is still not responding to that liquidity. It's going down, it's consolidating, but I can tell you very soon it's going to catch up with that. Not just because of this liquidity, but also because we see what is happening with the dollar. Bitcoin isn't getting more valuable, but fiat is becoming less valuable. And this is what will push Bitcoin to increase in value. In a system where supply is infinite, debt is permanent, political incentives favor printing, and this, the debasement of the fiat currency, losing its value, you can see how much it has dropped just in January, so much. You can see those big red candles, which will eventually, now you can see commodities are increasing in value, but Bitcoin will catch up very soon. Once people start taking profits of gold and silver, we even bought silver on Discord a couple of, I think last month or 2 months ago, when it was much cheaper. We are almost doubled our investment, and we will take our capital, and a lot of people will do the same, and then people will start looking for an alternative, and the next safe bet is Bitcoin. This is where the money would go afterwards. And we can see how much has fiat dropped. That is only telling you one thing. If you're holding everything in savings, you are losing. That's the uncomfortable truth. Your cash is not quietly losing value. It's losing its value very loudly, as this chart shows you. Every stimulus proposal, every bailout, every tariff, every emergency measure, it's another reminder that fiat stability is an illusion. Governments don't default, they debase. And when they do that, they do it slowly enough that people blame corporations, people blame greed, prices instead of the currency itself. And that's the scheme, that's the trap. So let's focus on the FOMC meeting, see what they're gonna say at that point. And it matters because we can see liquidity expanding, political risk rising, monetary credibility is eroding slowly, and this environment we would see Bitcoin hard asset scarcity outperform. Not because they're risky, but because cash is guaranteed to lose, and it is already happening. And if you want to see how we are positioning on Discord, what we are buying, what we are selling, and when, all the news, technical breakdowns and information, market sentiment and indicators, feel free to join Discord. It's all available there, and I'm sure you'll find it a valuable space to learn and grow and of course make money. So that's for me today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.